I mean, isn't it fitting that for the first big moves of the offseason for the New York Mets, I am back home in the original setup. I mean, I am here where it all started, talking about the Mets a few years back, and today I get to talk about them again. I'm super excited. I actually kind of had no plans to make any videos during this little Thanksgiving break, home with the family, relaxing, enjoying time here, but we got two moves by the New York Mets, and yeah, okay, so I can't believe I'm recording this now for the third time, scrapping the original intro. The Mets signed Starling Marte. Oh my God. They signed Starling Marte. I'm shocked. I didn't expect this to come today. I didn't expect it to come at midnight. I honestly, I predicted Starling Marte to go to the Mets in my video, but that was more of a pipe dream. I didn't think we were gonna get him. 4 years, $78 million. Uncle Steve is on a warpath, and I'm telling you, you might want to watch out for these Mets. He felt burned by Steven Matz. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but today, just today, they brought in Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and Mark Canha. Huge moves for the Mets. Canha and Escobar, I thought were just like nice little pickups to help improve this lineup. Starling Marte in this outfield with Brandon Nimmo, Mark Canha. I'm really liking the way this team's shaping up. I'm super excited. I'm pumped. We're back home. We're back home. It's the best place to talk about the Mets. This is where it all started for me. We got the big Mets logo. Some of the best Mets videos I've recorded have happened in this house. We got the editor back. Jackson's here, editing full time again. The videos are coming out. We're talking about the Mets, Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, Mark Canha. Let's go. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on it. That's the best way to show your support on the channel, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any content coming at you all off season long. Click that little red sub button, join the team. Get in the comments down below. Mets fans, everybody, how you feeling about these moves the Mets made, as well as the other moves I'm talking about later on in this video? Drop me a follow on all my social media at Giraffe Neck Mark, links in description. And yeah, we doing TikTok too, Giraffe Neck Mark. Check me out. So yeah, in the original video, I was gonna talk about Eduardo Escobar and Mark Canha first. You'll see that after I finish talking about Marte here. That's just gonna kind of get inserted right into the start. This definitely isn't a pretty edit, but it's working. Starling Marte, 4 years, $78 million. That's just shy of $20 million a year, and there are some concerns. He's 33 years old, a 4-year deal that takes him into his 37-year-old season, but with Starling Marte, the age really hasn't been a factor yet, and he's played pretty good center field the last few years, so he hasn't shown any signs of really slowing down. But he stole the most bases, I think, in Major League Baseball this year, where he was like top 5 at the absolute worst. The guy is in incredible shape. He's an incredible athlete. I've been begging the Mets to make this guy the center fielder for the New York Mets for the last 3 or 4 years, and they finally did it. Uncle Steve, man. He didn't get Steven Matz, and this dude has literally gone on a warpath, and that's kind of what Billy Epler does too. With the Angels, he gave out some big contracts, and we'll see how they pay off. I'm dying. I'm too excited. He's given out big contracts before to some older players, and they haven't paid off. But I do think that Starling Marte is going to be able to withstand the test of time. I think that the way that this guy keeps himself in shape, he's not really like a 33-year-old. And maybe that's me being a biased Mets fan. You know, I don't really care. You came to this video, you knew I was going to be excited, so you can't be upset if I'm hyping up this move, because I really do think this is really good. An outfield of him, Canha, and Brandon Nimmo is really strong. And Nimmo was pretty good in center field last year, so like there's a lot of flexibility with where these guys can play. These are not just corner outfielders. These are all guys that can play center field at a pretty high major league level, and I love that. And again, Starling Marte had a really good year last year. Really good. On the season, combined, he played 120 games, 12 homers, 27 doubles, 3 triples, 55 RBIs, and he stole 47 bases. Hit .310 with a .383 on base, .458 slugging, .841 OPS, and that was playing in Miami and Oakland, which are 2 of the hardest parks to hit it. I mean, he's been above OPS plus for basically his entire career. He's a 116 OPS plus player, an OPS at 800 for his career. I mean, even if you look at the last, 4 or 5 years, his OPS is 817, playing great defense in center field, a great base runner. This is something the Mets really haven't had a lot of. He's going to give a lot of energy, a lot of speed, a different look to this team, and I'm so glad he's going to be patrolling the outfield for the next 4 years. I love this move. This definitely means Michael Conforto's gone. That means Michael Conforto is definitely not coming back as a Met. There's just simply no room for him. I can't imagine they do it. I'm so pumped about Starling Marte. This is one of the great moves they made today. I'm really happy. And Uncle Steve, he said he was going to spend money. We didn't necessarily do it as much as we liked last year, but he's went out today and basically spent $100 million on 3 players, and we still have a lot of pitching needs to address. So let me tell you a little bit about Eduardo Escobar and Mark Canha, but right now with Starling Marte, absolutely love this move. Eduardo Escobar signed for 2 years, $20 million with a 3rd-year club option, and they also signed Mark Canha to a 2-year deal. I think it was, $26 million, something like that, with a 3rd-year club option as well. Gonna talk about all those moves, by the way, which I like, as you could probably get by the attitude in my video. At the absolute basis, I like these moves. Gonna talk about them a little bit more in depth, as well as some of the other rumors going around baseball, recall some of the other moves, just like Steven Matz, Wander Franco, Kendall Graveman, just to name a couple, because it's been a few days since I've talked baseball. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get started with Eduardo Escobar, which was the first move of the day. 2 years, $20 million with a third-year club option. And just right off the bat, super cheap. I love this deal. Eduardo Escobar can play third base, second base, first base. He's even played corner outfield before. I don't think he'll be doing that with the Mets, but if needed, he can play there. He has done it before. He could be doing it again. Switch hit bat, has some power, has some pop. He's an extra base hit machine everywhere he's been since it feels like about 2017. He has been a league average hitter at worst, and he's been pretty good at times. But the extra bases have always been a thing for Eduardo Escobar. He slaps the ball to all fields. Again, that switch hitting bat is huge for this Mets lineup. He's not going to be a guy who hits in the top 5, especially now, not with the addition of Mark Canha. You're hitting Eduardo Escobar 6th, 7th, or 8th in that lineup. I mean, that has some serious depth being added there. By no means is Eduardo Escobar the final piece. By no means is Eduardo Escobar the best player the Mets could have gotten out there, but we're switching the kind of narrative a little bit here. Jonathan Villar was great last year for us, but he played a little bit too much. You're getting a guy here like Eduardo Escobar. He's got a much lower floor and a lot higher ceiling than I think than a guy like Jonathan Villar. Probably going to be our third baseman. That's what it seems like for Eduardo Escobar, playing third base for the Mets in 2022, and I like it. Now, this probably means that JD Davis, which was rumored all offseason long, is going to be on his way out. There's just no real spot for him, and with the DH coming, that would probably be the best place for him. He can still hit, there's no doubt, but it is hard to get that guy in the field during a game because he's just got stone hands. He's a defensive liability. So getting a guy like Eduardo Escobar leads me to believe that JD Davis is on his way out. Be a part of a trade package for maybe, I don't know, a pitcher of some sorts or just some more players. What does this mean for Javi Baez? Because obviously Javi Baez plays a little second. That's where he would be with the Mets. He could also play third base if needed. I don't think that this actually does anything on the Javi Baez front. Eduardo Escobar has no impact on Javi Baez signing with the New York Mets, in my opinion. $20 million over 2 years isn't that much money. It's not going to affect how much they can pay Javi. This is essentially the money that they didn't pay Syndergaard is now going to Eduardo Escobar. I know that's not how it works, but that's how I'm viewing it as a Mets fan. I still think they're very much in the hunt for Javi Baez. I still am pretty confident that Javi Baez is going to be back on the Mets in 2022, and I want him back on the Mets. I may have flipped my script a little bit here, but I think Javi Baez was good. I liked how he played with us down the stretch. If he fooled me, he fooled me. It's not my money. I'm willing to take the risk. Let's bring Javi back. Eduardo Escobar doesn't change that, though, and he's still, I mean, like, he's good. Listen to these numbers, guys. Outside of 2020, which was a shortened year, and again, 54 games. You can find 54 games of anybody where they underperform, and also, he could have played like 30 bad games and 20 good ones, and his numbers are still going to look worse because of how small of a sample it is. So don't look too deep into 2020. I wouldn't be concerned there. Instead, I think you need to look at what he did in 2019 and 2021 and kind of find a middle ground. I don't think he'll be as good as he was in 2019. It's going to be hard to live up to those numbers. We had the juice baseballs. Everybody was hitting home runs. I mean, 35, 29, and 10 from him in terms of extra base hits is just insane. That's pretty unbelievable for a guy who is in his 30s. But I think what we saw last year is a little more realistic. 28 homers, 26 doubles, 5 triples, 90 RBIs, 786 OPS. I like Eduardo Escobar a lot as a player. He's a guy that I was hoping the Mets would have been interested on even a few years ago, back in 2019, when he seemed like maybe available. He was on the market. I really am a big fan of this guy. I like the way he plays. I mean, even look at his 2018 year with the Twins and Arizona split time. He had 48 doubles that year. 48. I don't even know who had the most doubles on the Mets last year, but I feel like nobody came close to 48. Just a hunch. He just gets into this lineup and he's one of the better hitters, I think, right now. Yes, he doesn't necessarily walk, and you like to see guys that get on base a lot more than guys who hit for average or extra base hits. I know how that works, but I do think Eduardo Escobar's profile for where he's going to fit in the lineup is a really good fit, especially now when we sign a guy like Mark Canha, who is an on-base machine. I mean, Mark Canha was in my top 10 most underrated free agents video, and for a good reason. It's really, really good, and he just got signed for 2 years, $26 million. There's a really cool stat that Fangraphs has where they basically calculate how valuable you were in a season in dollar amounts. And Mark Canha, I mean, just smashes how much his valuation is worth. So Ken Rosenthal tweeted it out. In 18, he was worth $16.7 million, 19, $32.2 million, 20 with a short season, $13.9 million, and last year in 2021, $20.7 million. Mets got him for 2 years, $26.5 million. I mean, again, this guy is just a really good ball player. He can play all 3 outfield positions. Yes, Mark Canha, pretty big dude, can play center field, and he plays it pretty well. Since 2018, which is when he started getting like real playing time with the A's, he has an on-base percentage of .366 in Major League Baseball, a slugging of .441, 807 OPS, and that's all while playing in the absolute black hole for hitters that is Oakland, the Coliseum. The numbers there, hitting-wise, are abysmal typically. It is very hard to be a successful hitter in that ballpark. And Mark Canha was able to post an 800 OPS over 450 games while playing for the A's during that time. To me, Mark Canha is such a good pickup. I mean, left field, right field, center field, wherever you want to put him, he'll be able to play all those positions. I love versatility. He can even play a little bit of first base too, which is nice. I think that this means Dom Smith's a little bit on the end and out, which, I mean, to be fair, Dom Smith didn't play well last year. The Mets are in the business of winning. That's what they're trying to do. And as much as we love Dom here, we're big Dom fans. If he's not going to give us the best chance to win, it's hard to put the guy out on the field every single day. He's got a great attitude. He's a great guy to have in the clubhouse, but he's got to be able to perform. And a guy like Mark Mark Canha has been performing the last few years. So Canha, slot him in for 130, 140 games out in the outfield. He's going to be a stud. For you traditional baseball fans out there, you might not love seeing the low batting average. Over this time period, he was a 249 hitter, and he's probably more of like a 235, 240 guy, which is what we saw last year when he hit 231. But he walks a lot. He walks a ton. He's got good pop in his bat. I mean, he's hit 20 plus home runs before. I expect the offensive numbers to go up, leaving Oakland, coming to Citi Field. Even though Citi Field is a pretty tough park to hit in, I still expect the numbers to improve. I really, really like this move. This is another really nice, under the radar, good budget, smart money move by the New York Mets that they're spending on hitting. Michael Conforto, I can't see him coming back now either. To me, these two moves signal that the Mets are probably going to go after Javi, or at least like maybe one more big money guy, but he's not going to be attached to a qualifying offer. I think there's no way that happens. And then they're going to go big on pitching. I think Stroman, Gausman could be next. I think Stroman, Rodon. I think Rodon, Gausman, Robbie Wright. I think there's going to be some kind of combination where the Mets bring in two big name pitchers right now this offseason and really try and make a push here to become one of the better teams in the National League. Right now, as they currently stand, they are improving, but they are still not done. They are still not a National League contender. They're still not a World Series contender. They're still not the best team in the National League East. But these moves do help this team become better and help them move forward. We need pitching now. We need to improve upon the pitching because the pitching is a little sketchy. That is for sure. But Billy Epler, I'm liking it, Billy. I'm liking what you're doing. You're making me feel good. You're making me feel better. These are really, really smart baseball moves, and I got to applaud you for that. Now, in terms of the other moves, let's talk about who the Mets missed out on. Steven Matz. Steve Cohen was not happy about it. That was the big story around this entire move, was Steve Cohen's tweet about how he basically felt like Steven Matz's agent handled it in an unprofessional manner. He was under the idea that the Mets were going to have the last contract offer to Steven Matz before he decided where he was going, and the Mets never got to make that opportunity happen. He signed with the Cardinals for a 4-year, $44 million deal, and honestly, for you St. Louis Cardinals fans, as much as I'm a Steven Matz doubter, at that price, it's pretty good. He's going to make 30 starts a year. He's not a huge injury guy, almost ever, I feel like. I feel like he just really didn't get hurt much. The biggest thing with Steven Matz is his head. If you can get his head in the right place, from the left-handed side, he has some pretty disgusting stuff, and the Cardinals have a great defense behind him, something that the Mets never really gave him while he was in New York. So you get him in a much better pitcher's park outside of Buffalo and Dunedin, and even Toronto where he pitched last year. You get gold glovers all around the field, on the infield, the catcher, the outfield. I mean, they're just going to get outs galore with this guy on the mound. It feels like a match made in heaven. Good luck to Steven Matz out in St. Louis. I'm not personally spurned by the Mets not getting him. I just don't like going back to your ex-girlfriend. To me, that feels a little bit weird. I understand why people would want him. He had some good stuff last year, and he looks like he's improving. For me, I'm not losing sleep over it. Steve Cohen's tweet, that's the bigger story. People think that this is going to be like a bad thing for the Mets. They think this is going to deter people. I honestly disagree. As someone who uses social media as their job, I think social media is incredibly important. While Steve Cohen could maybe articulate his tweets a little bit better, I really don't have a problem with what he's doing right there. If he feels like the Mets were kind of, jerked around a little bit and he doesn't like it, I really don't have a problem with him voicing that opinion. Whether he voices that opinion on Twitter or to the media, who cares? I want an owner who wants to win, and if Steve Cohen puts a winning team on the field for us, that's all I can really ask for, because that's not what past owners have done with this Mets team. Good signing for the Cardinals, though. Kendall Graveman signed with the Chicago White Sox. Nice little deal for him. What was it, like 2 or 3 years? I should have done more research into this, but it feels like weeks ago when he signed. 3-year, $24 million deal. That's a really safe deal, I think, for the White Sox. He's going to be the setup man leading to Liam Hendricks, it seems like, which also means that Craig Kimbrell's now probably on the outskirts here for the White Sox, although they could keep him and probably have one of the best 7-8-9s in the league. Very reminiscent of like Robertson, Miller, Chapman back in the day with the Yankees. Say back in the day, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. But hey, you've seen teams do this before. Even the Royals, when they won the World Series in 2015, they had 3 lights out guys with Wade Davis, Greg Holland, and Kelvin Herrera. Back in the bullpen's important. The White Sox are securing it up. I can't blame them. Kendall Graveman was really great last year. I love this move by the White Sox. They're trying to win now, and this helps them do that. Wander Franco signed that huge $200 million contract extension, I guess, with the Rays. I really know what to call it. They bought out arbitration years for free agent years. Whatever it is, I think it's a great contract for both sides. A lot of people on Twitter saying that Wander Franco took an L. He got screwed, that he's not going to get enough. First off, no one who gets paid $200 million ever gets screwed. Not possible. $200 million, life-changing money. Second off, Wander Franco, while we know he is going to be a special player, there's a world where something maybe happens and he's not. I don't want that world to exist. That's why I'm not really putting it out there, but I think this is a smart move from both sides. Wander Franco gets $200 million right now, changes his family's life currently, in the future, and for the future. I mean, Wander Franco, it's not a friggin' Ozzy Albies contract where he signed away his life for basically nothing, even though he still got millions of dollars. Got $200 million. I think this is a great move for Wander. I think this is a great move for the Rays because it's the most tradable contract probably in MLB history. Wander Franco's not finishing it out with the Rays. They're going to have this huge contract. He's going to be a star. They're going to trade him, and they're going to be able to cycle in new top prospects to keep this cycle going. The Rays are revolutionizing baseball. This is the next big thing. Paying young stars massive tradable contracts and then flipping them for the next big stars. The Rays are ahead of everything. They're unbelievable. And in terms of signings, I think that's it. Michael Wacha to the Red Sox. Sure, he was on the Mets. He stunk. He was with the Rays. He was better, I guess. But I don't know. I can't really get sold on Michael Wacha. I used to be a little higher on him. There's at times he looked good last year, but for the most part, he's just a little bit of a mess. But Red Sox need starting pitching, so can't be much worse than Garrett Garrett Richards was last year, right? And they threw him out for like 15 starts. I really don't know if I'm missing any other moves. This video was mostly focused on the Mets, Eduardo Escobar and Mark Canha coming to them, but if I did, let me know in the comment section below. I'll cover it in the next video. And yeah, we got Starling Marte. The outro didn't have him originally. Like I said, this video didn't have Starling Marte in it because up until midnight, Starling Marte was not a Met. This video is going to come out tomorrow morning, but hey, we got big news. Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, Mark Canha are on those New York Mets. Let's go. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. That's where I'm wrapping up today's video. Like I said, we got the editor, Jackson. He's back. Big shout out to Jackson. Everybody say bing bong in the comment section. But he's back. He's editing. And we're ready to pump out some content for you during this month of December. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drills from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is the most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.